Hey guys, we're back again with Dave today. This is his deck list from the UK Open. How are you doing, Dave?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty some successful weekends after a row, so pretty happy with that. Going pretty good for the World Race.
Yeah, so we said it was the UK Open list, which I believe was it seventh you've got, wasn't it?
Seventh place, yeah, out of
Yes.
like 341 participants with 9 rounds of Swiss, I believe.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because you were in the finals technically, weren't you? Um,
Yeah,
and then you also went to a regional. What was the name of the other regional you went to?
Eindhoven regional.
Yes, and what place did you get in that one? Sorry.
Third.
So happy days. Yes, you're on a bit of a roll at the moment. That's like three in a row. So yeah. So jumping into the UK Open one then. First of all, a big shout is like this was you collaborated with this list. It's kind of like a Worlds approach that one of the players took to Worlds, and you kind of collaborated in a team about that. So it was just like kind of just yeah, shouting out the fact that you did some Worlds testing on it. That's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
how come you chose Sky Striker cards then? Like, kick us off. Why did you choose this sort of deck?
So just like you said, it was like mainly because like Yuna and Thomas were the main brainstormers about this deck, of course. The breakout approach really heavily favors this format in my opinion. The only deck that is like non-breakable in my opinion is Malice, but you don't really see much Malice in this format, of course.
Yeah.
And the thing is, let's say for example you play like against Vanquish Soul, it's pretty breakable. And the reason why it really works with this deck pretty well is because of the fact that, yes, Vanquish Soul can grind a shit ton. This deck can also grind a shit ton. As long as you keep GWC in rotation, you can essentially like grind endlessly, sword charge every turn, like, and just do it non-stop. Yes, Vanquish Soul can also do it, but once you get rid of the bodies, like if you banish Caesar Valleys, of course, then it becomes really hard for them to keep up. While Malice can keep on grinding once the ball has started to roll, of course.
Yeah.
Um, and when you also look at the entire format, you have like Dragotail, which in my opinion is like a bit of a wacky deck because yes, it does have some powerful combos. But one Melulu plus hand trap is not even the good combo, to say the least.
Yeah.
Or like Vanquisher is Bicky, and then you have Yumi, which is like very like weak into breakers, and then Malice also is sort of picky. So the way we try to fix this is by incorporating breakers, such also as Trust and like Talents, of course, which ups the consistency of this deck, which decreases one of its like biggest like weaknesses, of course, by potentially upgrading the amount of starters you can play by 3, because you can just go terraforming into field spell or just directly search gold shark, or if you want to go like a bit ballsy, you can go into engage. So that's why it felt the deck to play for the event.
Interesting. And then, so like the last time you won, I believe you played Yummy. How come you want to switch away then? Did you just think that Malice was just so much stronger?
So the reason for that is like back in the Groningen regional, it felt many people were like on handjob still. People didn't really see how the format was going to adapt. People would like were not playing that much Yumi, as you can see in the Groningen regional. I was the only Yumi in top 8 back then, and many people were like the other decks, like Vanquish Volcano, for example.
Yeah.
And Yumi has a great Vanquish Volcano matchup when you play the trap variant, of course.
Yeah.
But I felt like the format has shifted to where many people are playing Vakers, even sometimes Vanquish Volcano itself, when like they use type of Vakers that also are sort of attributes for them, like Pankratops, for example.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have more defense against that, and the main powerful advantage of Malice is that it cannot be breakers. Like, yes, you can get evenly matched, but then you have Linkuribo in your grave. You have an Omni Negate at all times. You play pretty well into like Charmies, of course. And just like all your interruptions are lying in the grave or GWCs in the back row. So even if you get Harpies Feather Dust or something like that, you can go GWC into Rabbit and then all the new chains set up MTP.
Yeah.
So that's the main advantage, and people have been downcutting Lanciers lately.
Yeah.
So it all makes it so that Malice is a far better position than it used to be, because of the disrespect people give to the deck.
Yeah. And then, I guess still kind of staying on that topic, why the striker cards? Like, what was your general theory behind this?
So the general theory is, of course, it's like it's just an additional push, but it's also like a card that enables you to have like a wind out in engine, or like not really an engine, but like it's like essentially four-wheeler anchors that you're playing. You have like outs to like multiple different things. You have like an out to potentially Holy Su, for example, when you play correctly, or like a Rasen. There's like they're super adaptive, which is like the key reason to play it in this deck, of course. And you also have a little bit of like an advantage because once people see you play Hornet drones, they immediately think of Yumi. Like I had it during the UK Open. I like put down like a Hornet drone token, and the immediate response of Vanquish players is, "I need to get rid of this token." And then if their normal summon is not Cup C, I get rid of that. I can with one card, which is Holy Su, get rid of two pushes. The thing in this deck is, yes, of course you can like get rid of the Hornet drones token, but it allows you to play into Dominus Impulse, for example. Which, if I just normal summon Dormouse, for example, and they take that body, they don't play into the Dominus Impulse because Holy Soul is not on board yet. So they don't control any cards. So I can't even activate Dominus Impulse. And I can't even banish it from the grave, like accordingly, right? So by playing the Striker cards, you can also bait your opponent far better, seeing how Yumi plays the Hornet Drone package, of course.
Interesting. And then obviously you've talked about how you're playing a lot of board breakers at the moment. It's very interesting, like which ones you've chosen. How come you ended up on say like two Book of Eclipse? Is there any of these like board breakers that you wanted to like say bump up to three? Do you think about bumping them up to three and playing 42, or did you want to keep it down for like consistency?
So yes, we want to keep it down for consistency, like mainly on 40, of course. The thing is, like, what do you cut? And at first, it was even three Book of Eclipse. But just like the Yumi deck I played, right? It's like I really want to have like the one Dark Ruler in the main.
Yeah.
Just like for random reasons. Dark Ruler is not a bad card per se, but I just want to have it there, just for like that you could search a specific win out or so, stuff like that. So at first it was three Book of Eclipse and then three Dark Ruler in the side. Then I decided to play one Dark Ruler, and so we just switched it around with the side and the main for that. So well, it looks randomly to play two Book of Eclipse, one Dark Ruler. That's the main reason for this, which it's like the Dark Ruler can as might be like a Book of Eclipse, but it's just searchable when you like get wind out or something. And I felt fine with the two trust because I also played one tenant, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like a fine ratio for me, and I didn't want to up the deck like with like one more card anymore, or something like that.
Yeah, I guess with Thrust, it feels like if you play two Thrust and then one of, like, say, like Dark Ruler no more, then I guess it just kind of feels like you're playing three Dark Ruler no more anyway. So, like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of that, how did you find Dark Ruler? Because I know you said you liked it last time. Did it still perform well into this event?
Yeah, definitely. Like sometimes it just randomly came up. It didn't do as much as like in the Groningen, Groningen regional, but that's just like sometimes you see it more than not. It's just a random one of in your main deck. But I was always happy with signing the two additional Dark Rulers in the side into the main, when going like when for game 2 or 3, for example.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So I like it's a sort of card that I almost want to play it at 3 in the main deck, but I know it's bad, so I won't do that because like then it sucks a little bit to come first.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And then a couple of interesting ones, like kind of, I guess, ratio and consistency wise. How come you ended up on the two backup Ignista and one Wizard? How come, and then like obviously there's the third and the side. How come you chose these ratios?
So we were talking a bit about like ratio wise because of course when you play the break engine you can only break once you see engine, right?
Yeah,
So we wanted to see plenty of engine, and that's why we upped like the backup to two. Because you can break all you want, but if you don't see engine, like what are you breaking essentially, right?
yeah, yeah,
We went to two in the other deck. We played it at one. It felt fine enough to play it at one. It should have been at one, but that's just something like that's come also with testing, and like a 9 round tournament is pretty good amount of testing in my opinion.
yeah, exactly. And then with all the board breakers you have in the deck, how come you didn't fancy Fuvalos in the main? Did you not think it was good enough?
No, because like if you play it, for example, against Vanquish Volcano, you can just get like dice smash it for like even though it may not be correct, but people just do it. It's like I don't see any value out of that. I felt like comfortable enough with my breakers that I can like face anything and don't need the full roll specifically. It's only against decks that I know for sure I could get dice smash that I can like safely play full rolls, of course. because even against like Vanquish Canine, I would like going second side out with my Ashes, for example, just so I'd never play into that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, what did you find like was your most feared matchup then at the UK Open?
The mirror, by far, the mirror.
Yeah,
The mirror, by far. Yeah, I played one mirror, and I was like, I lost the die roll, and I was like, oh shit, here we go, because like the mirror is really like trembling. But
yeah,
just like I said, people don't respect this deck, so that's like the reason why we played it. Because first of all, it doesn't get respect, so we can just play like a break approach and then disrespect Lancia a bit.
yeah.
But also, um, because the deck is so disrespected, we can also disrespect the mirror itself. And of course, like just like I said, the mirror cannot be breakered. So as you can see, we play breakers. We're not suited for the mirror at all.
Yeah. Was that one of your losses then? I take it at the UK Open.
Oh no, I won it like fortunate enough. It was the finals against like Josh Kelly and what was my other loss again? I cannot even remember it. It's like uh, I don't know. Sorry, I cannot remember.
No, you're all good. I'm testing your memory here. Don't panic. But yes, I was interested. Yeah, funny your feared matchup, you still managed to do well. So I guess it's just, I guess if you can kind of sight them out and you can kind of grind them out, and with your knowledge of the deck, I suppose then hopefully as long as they don't set up and go crazy, you just kind of capitalize on the misplays and do well. I suppose is the approach to do it. But and then kind of looking at some of the other interesting things. How come you went for like say two Ling Garibo? Did you find that there was anything else you wanted, or like did you have two Ling in for the mirror, or to beat like the Vanquish Soul or Draco Tail traps or anything like that?
So there's like random situation where the second one may come up. It's still just like a debate between like Disciple and the second Link Rebo. I think either version is fine enough. It's just like I expected far more Draco 2 at like the UK Open,
Yeah,
so I want like the second Link Rebo just for that essentially.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then, well, you've spoken about a couple of decks. I think Josh Kelly played. He played Pure Mitsu. I remember. I think. Do you remember any of the other decks that you played at the UK Open? Like, what were your matchups, or am I testing your memory too much?
Um, so I played at least like against a Draco 2 player. I remember my loss. It was against like the super heavy player that got second. Um,
Oh, that was an
yeah,
interesting deck.
Yeah, so like the unfortunate part about that matchup is like I got game one. I just opened like entire engine, like literally like triple Jessica type of shenanigans. So I was never winning that one while losing dice roll.
Yeah,
Going second, I like this game two. I won. A game three, I also opened a very unfortunate hand. Like I was able to break it, but he had like a random deck lockdown, which like I believe I didn't see any names in that matchup, so the only way for me to access a name was by like using a search spell, which is like, of course, in the deck lockdown you cannot. So that's why I lost essentially.
okay, that makes sense. What were your dice rolls like as well? Did you find it was an even split on the day?
Yeah, I believe it's an even split. Like it's like, if I just see it, it's like 5-4
Oh, that's not too bad
in
at all.
nine rounds. So like I won five, lost four. So that's fine enough.
Yeah, that's kind of what you want with Malice, because Malice first game is very, very strong, especially with no Lancia. And did you find you got Lancia much on the day, or did you like there was no respect at all?
No, I got Lancia sometimes. I even did like the Dragato player who like returned Lancia to the hand, of course.
Oh,
But it didn't really matter for me that much because she like once you break the board a little bit, like one MTP can go a long way in that matchup. So
yeah,
in that sense, it's like, oh, they normally summon Lulum, they'll get rid of it, but FTP. And yes, of course, they get like other stuff out of it. They still perform the fuse summon, but because they don't fuse with Melula specifically, they don't really break the deck that much, or like break the board that you set up, or even under Lancer, for example.
yeah, that makes sense. And then any MVPs for the Open? Any cards stand out?
Like not really. Like every card we put it in, and it performed as expected, of course.
Yeah,
Um, I would say if I had to choose one, I think like Dark Ruler still.
Yeah.
Like going second, it's just a powerhouse of a card. So
Yeah, that's one thing I picked up is you very much do like that ruler, which is interesting. I've not seen a crazy amount of people play it, so I like the fact that you are finding success with it from like a high level in 3 events in a row as well, which kind of proves your theory. But yes, speaking of 3 events, we'll have a look at the other deck. Some of the instant changes we can see is there's no more Book of Eclipse in this one. How come you cut the Book of Eclipse?
so the Book of Eclipse was one of the cards that really like underperformed in my opinion. Yes, it did sometimes do the job right. But the thing is, like, so we essentially like changed it with Imperm.
Okay.
Um, the thing is like when you have a smaller regional, and especially like in like other countries, right? People may do more like ups or essentially early,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in the early rounds, and you want to punish them right there and then. So with Imperm, you have the option if you want to use this as a breaker or as a hand trap. Like as a breaker, it's kind of weak in my opinion. But still, just like have the ability to punish people instantaneously when they make like a mistake. Of course, is like the real benefit of having Imperm in your list, of course.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then, as you said, you spoke before about only having one backup, so you cut down on the engine slightly on this one then as well.
Yeah, and we actually didn't play the second one inside. We didn't feel the need for it. I was fine with it, felt comfortable. So that's really it. And like we changed also the main change to this deck is the side patterns. I feel
Yeah,
like because it's a smaller regional, people knew I just stopped the UK Open. People knew I just stopped the Groningen regional. I knew for certain I had like a sort of like a target on my back.
yeah, yeah,
So we decided to at least play the one Nibiru, just for the sake of like if people know I play Nibiru, they know they need to respect it.
yeah,
And so that's really it. Like we are also debating to play the third Bell, because Bell it like felt really like good in the format because like when you go first, you want to silo like a bit of your breakers, such as like Dark Ruler, or like Imperms and stuff. So you don't have like people still, and we're mainly on breakers for like the Eindhoven regional. So
yeah.
I felt more comfortable with my interruptions being on hand and on my field, and also have like the coverage with Bell into like Draketer, for example.
Okay, that makes sense. And then, so you still, oh yeah, and then you swapped Fuvlos for Meows. How come you did the change?
So I expected a lot more Malice in Eindhoven than I did at the UK Open, so I want to at least have some respect to it. And I felt that like because you play amount of breakers, that like Meows at least complements that part of the ancient better than you would do with like Lancia, because like
Yeah,
if you have Lancia, first of all it doesn't help your consistency. Right, if you go second, it
yeah,
actually worsens it a bit, but like you have the 6 cards you draw. But also like you have breakers which cannot break anything because they set up on like crypto pass. That doesn't work, right?
yeah,
So I felt that Miyasu punish your opponent more if they go for crypto pass, and you can actually do something with the other cards you had.
yeah. That's fair enough. And then, so you obviously you cut the Fuvlos, and then you cut Lightning Storms, and then the third Book of Eclipse as well. Did you miss the Lightning Storms at all?
Mm, Not really. I felt comfortable enough just playing it to backward normally. Like if an opponent flips Tikaboo, you can of course do like weird stuff where like you do Monster Reborn and then go into SP for example,
Yeah,
or just like go Trust into Harpies.
yep.
So I felt comfortable enough without the Lightning Storm essentially.
That's fair. How did Reborn perform on both the events? Because this was in both lists, I believe. How was it?
Yeah, so the thing is, we essentially treated like the Monster Reborn as like an additional backup. Only the thing is like when you already like used backup, it felt really weird to use Wicked as an extender, right?
Yeah,
Because then it switched to backup, and you're like, oh, but I already used it. The Monster Reward didn't, and it may sound a very small change, but backup immediately lets you discard, of course, when you use it as an extender.
yeah,
Well, Monster Reward doesn't, and gives you time to coop some cards in order for you to fulfill the discard far efficiently. It also is a different push, so even if you have like backup plus Monster Reborn, it felt good enough to play it separately, of course. Where if you have like a backup plus backup, it doesn't do anything additionally, of course.
okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then another card that we didn't quite go over was, how did you find Different Dimension Ground? Did you thrust into this much? How did this perform?
Not that much as I actually wanted to. Um, but it's pretty still alright because against Yumi it's powerhouse for card. Against Dracotail it's an even more insane powerhouse for
Yeah.
card. It's just pretty good all around, I would say. So I would still play it as long as I play Trust, for example.
Yeah. And then I guess the only other thing we haven't really addressed as well was this horrible, horrible card. Did you get to shift many people on the on either of the events?
Not many, but it came up. It definitely came up. Like you play 9 rounds of Swiss
Yeah.
in the UK Open. I played 7 rounds of Swiss in Eindhoven. You play 60 rounds of Swiss. There's not like it cannot be that it never comes up, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
for the times it came up, like I even had it against Vanquisol K9 where I didn't even use it in game one and still won type of decks, right?
yeah,
Because just like the theory, you don't want to like get um, dice smash it, of course. Like, of course, on the
yeah,
shift it's
yeah,
far more awkward, but still, you don't want to have like that option available to them. But I felt that the shifter was really good in the main deck.
yeah. It's a crazy card. And then yeah, did you find that it was very Malice heavy, or like what were your matchups at the regional?
Oh, I didn't face any Malice. It was all Vanquish K9. Like, I played, I think, believe like 4 Vanquish K9 or something. And I'm like, okay, sure, kiddo, we just going to roll with this, I guess.
Yeah. Well, as you said though, you do have a lot of outs for Vanquish Soul. So did you find that like the way you built the deck really helped with that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like you have plenty of outs to deal with Holy Soul and shenanigans, so you cannot really get like variance based on that too much. And
Yeah.
even if your bodies get removed, you can like twist into more engine if you need to, if you already seen enough like breakers as is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then yeah, so you've made changes from the last from the open to this deck. Would there be any changes you would make moving forward?
Um, so yes, but it will be depending on how the format adapts, right? Like
Yeah.
as you can see, like from like the Groningen regional to the UK Open to like even this, a lot of things changed in like 2 weeks essentially, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and that's all what the World Race is about, like adapting to every
yeah.
situation, seeing what people are trending, adapting to like speculations and guess it right is like where the biggest part comes in.
Yeah. One big one as well is there's no second Lingria, but you want Link Disciple on this one. What was the thought behind this?
Oh, it's essentially just a light for like access code. So like you have like an additional attribute which you can pop cards with. So you usually have it like with people like Dracotail, or like with decks like Dracotail where they have like an insane amount of backward setup for the following turn and you just need to get rid of it, for example.
Ah, okay.
And then access code pop 3 or pop 4 is more impactful than 3, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big time. Any shout outs you want to do?
So just like I said, I mean, like mainly wanted to like thank Thomas and Yuna about it because they essentially convinced me to play this deck. It was mainly their idea, so I want to give like the appropriate shoutouts to them, and that's really it. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on.